Jagex listened to the community once again and is fixing their problem. This is slightly off center. See how that lines up with the right line and it doesn't line up with the left line? That's triggering me. All right, so like 10 minutes ago from me making this video, they've revisited the balance changes they made yesterday. So that's September 1st to September 2. So you could read the whole thing here, but I'm just going to skip down to the TLDR because that's great. Keep it shorter. So they've hotfixed some things today from yesterday. So when we read this, keep in mind this is currently live in game. The Warden's HP is the same as it is now, but they've increased the hit points of the core. They've reduced the hit point scaling of the Warden's core when additional invocations are active by 75%. So they've reduced how much it scales by 75%. So when you're in a 300, you've added a bunch of invocations. It was taking a while. Like it was adding 75% more HP. Basically, core, that phase, faster again. Easier, quicker. Increased the Warden's core exposure phase duration, with each subsequent down. So the first time the core pops out, it won't hang around too long. Probably five rapier hits or like 5 DDS or something. Second time around, core will stay for a little longer, giving a well-coordinated group an opportunity to sync for their specs for a 2 down. So back to 2 down raids, very nice. It went from 2 down to 4 down. So the first time the core pops out, it won't be there for long, then back to the fight. Second time, you can dump specs and get a 2 down. It's probably 5 hits with a rapier, and then 7 hits on the second one. This is speculation. If you're not able to finish the Warden off by the second down, each time the core is exposed, it'll remain exposed for substantially longer amount of time. So more than enough time for player to finish the Warden off. Basically, you're not going to go over a 3 down is what I'm reading into this. Liquid Adrenaline now lasts 150 seconds instead of 60 seconds. So you can sip your Liquid Adrenaline at the start of the obelisk, and it'll last until that first core comes out. So that's pretty dope. It'll probably last until then. Chaos Pack for mid-raid loot will now occasionally offer players doses of adrenaline or ambrosia. That's good, because they'd reverted that basically. You had to choose either power or life if you wanted ambrosia or adrenaline. Quantity of mid-raid loot offered has been increased for the life and chaos packs. More supplies. People were running out of supplies after these changes, which was not a problem before the changes. Now they've increased the amount of stuff you get. Movement delay at the start of the Warden's third phase has been reduced. Cool. That's just like a bug. Fixed a bug with the resupply function. Okay. More information. They're changing this next week. Mid-raid loot will offer 2 dosed potion variants instead of 1. So currently an ambrosia is a 1 dose click, and the potion's gone. They're going to change that so it's back to the 2 dose. Some of the pathing issues in Zebak's Lair will be patched. The in-raid timer will end as the Warden hits 0 HP. That's just adding 15 seconds to everybody right there. Like, you can complete the raid 15 seconds faster. Because that death animation is about 15 seconds. It's a sick death animation, but the timer should stop. We hope to be able to recreate the skip when mining the pillar on the Path of Het. We hope to be able to recreate the skip while mining the pillar on the Path of Het. That's very vague. I don't know what that is. Okay, so of the TLDR, that's what's been changed, but the big thing, drop rates, they've clarified what has happened. This is what they said happened. They said slightly reduced and slightly increased, and that was so ambiguous that we had no idea what was going on. They actually kind of lied with this. So, uniques at a raid level 150 are now 12% rarer than they were on release. So if you're doing a 150 and the drop rate was, let's say, 1 in 20, it's now 1 in 22.4. That's what 12% is. It's definitely not 1 in 20. It's been rumored to be 1 in 45. So if you do 45 times 1.12, so 12%, so it's adding, it goes from 1 in 45 to 1 in 50, basically. I hope my math was right there. Uniques at raid level 200 are 5% more common than they were before. So at 200s now you're going to get more drops than on release. So that's good. So instead of a 1 in 20, it's a 1 in 19. 5% isn't a big change, but that's nice. At 250, this is when it gets crazy. At raid level 250, it is 25% more common than it was before. So on release, if you did a 250, you'd get a drop like every 1 in, I don't know, let's say 1 in 75. Now it's going to be 1 in 50. No, that's bad math. 1 in 100, now it's 1 in 75. Anyways, you know what 25% is. And they give an example. If it was a 1 in 20, now it's a 1 in 16. Again, this was rumored to be like 1 in 40, so now it's like 1 in 30-ish. Uniques at raid level 300, this is what the big boys have been doing. 40% more common than before. So people were noticing that a 300 was like a 1 in 40 and a 150 was like a 1 in 45. Those were the numbers that people had worked out on Reddit, in the ToA Discord, etc. So instead of it being a 1 in 45, it's now going to be 40% more common. So 45 times 0.6 is a 1 in 27. And that is a good number for an expert. If you look at a solo raid in Chambers' Eric, those are about 20 minutes if you do a no prep, and they're about a 1 in 27. These are about 30 minutes, maybe 35 at an expert, and if it's 1 in 27, that's good. So it's still rarer than a Cox Purple. And then for Tob, basically, if you're doing a trio, it's 1 in 9 times 3, because there's 3 people. It's like a 1 in 27. So that right there lines up to be about a 1 in 27 from the numbers that we know. Basically, though, on release, it is 40% more common than it was on release if you're doing a level 3 hundo. So a 300 is now 2.5 times more likely than a 150. So I would say a 300 raid is 2.5 times more difficult, but it takes less than 2.5 times the time. So it's really just effort, investment equals reward. Some more blubbering there. This was the mid-raid loot that they talked about. This was the Warden's changes. Again, go ahead and read all this, but I think this is very positive changes. They're reverting some of the issues. They're fixing some of the issues, and they've released kind of, the base numbers of what they've done to the drop table, which I think is good. So as I was saying, they kind of like lied on it. They said they slightly increased the effect that raid levels have, but they've 40% made it more common. So that's not a slight change, bruv. That's a pretty big change. 40% more common at level 300. Does that mean at level 600 it's like a guaranteed purple? It's like 200% more common than before? I don't know. I have no idea. Let me know your comments below what you think of these changes. Or, pop in the stream, Twitch TV/Flumple, and let me know what you think. I'm going to go run a solo and hopefully spoon a purple. If I do, it'll be in the Dank Loots channel in Discord. See you there. Thanks for that. Good, nice job, everybody. Good. Keep it up.